Weddings are very important to us Indians. In fact, you could say that there is something about marriages that make them deeply rooted in our culture itself. But do Indians even believe in marriages anymore?
I feel like it's not necessary.
I want to, but
If I find the right person, but also I'm like open to just not, because I feel like it's just.
yeah, I don't know.
It's
I haven't
it's
seen
like
any
a
good
government
examples
thing.
for me to actually.
I don't think you need it to like prove that you're really committed to someone. If you are, then you don't need a document to prove it. I feel like. So
I understand that marriage doesn't need to be something that I need to go to a court and register, because marriage is supposed to be, as a lot of people describe it, a declaration of love. And I think I can do that. I can say I'm married to someone, I can have the whole ceremony without having to make it legal, put it on paper. And yeah, I think marriage is beautiful, but we need to stop bringing laws into everything. So, but that's just my opinion.
Parents also think like that let's not push our kids into that things because of the way the divorce rates are going up, and the kind of parents knows that, let's not push our kids.
You see, it cannot be a business deal. It cannot be a great opportunity. It has got to be the union of two souls, man. And everybody involved in that marriage should understand that. Or else, for your own agenda, you'll end up spoiling the life of two people completely, ruining them, ruining a child's life. And we don't, like a lot of Western things don't fall well with us, even though we want to live. Like, how many Western systems have we adopted shamelessly? Yaar? What makes you think that that's the right way of living?
It's not surprising to see a lot of people fall out of faith with marriages these days, especially with the rising divorce rates in our country and the general uncertainty and anxiety surrounding marriages. A recent study by Forbes shows that one of the most common signs of divorce is people simply not getting along, while it also shows that 34% of marriages ended due to an affair. It is also interesting to note that lack of family support, a lack of intimacy, and financial stress is also listed as reasons for divorce.
Sometimes it's not that in-laws are bad or demanding, it's just that there is just this unset expectation from daughter-in-laws at times. So just certain things they sort of expect at times. It could be like wearing bangles post-marriage for someone who just does not like jewelry, or not wearing jeans. So simple things, but when you look at them, they can be quite difficult. So those things maybe. And it gets a bit more difficult, say someone who's come from a vegetarian household and has married someone who is a core non-veg family, or vice versa, maybe adjusting to that, those things.
But is it true that everyone has stopped believing in marriages nowadays?
Do you believe in marriage?
Yeah, I believe.
Depends on the girl, but yeah, I believe in marriage.
My mom dad got married almost 30-35 years now, and I'm seeing them. They are happy. They fight and they do every sort of things, but I see the love in them. Even it was not a love marriage, but I still see the love in them. And yes, I want to be married someday, not right now.
I think because marriage is like a bond, In dating part, when you date a person and when it doesn't work out, you can just break up and shit. But marriage, you give it a shot. And I feel doesn't matter how far on the scale they are, but eventually, after they've gone through a lot of stuff, they'll stay together. And marriage is the way to do it, I feel. So I think it's gonna be beautiful.
When my dad comes home after work and she cooks for him and she goes and serves the rotis, the garam garam, and after all the hectic one, the bite he takes, okay, and then he feels relaxed and she's talking and she's pampering my dad. That is the one thing I really want.
The guy should not say that my mother used to cook that much when I come back and she used to do that. She was a homemaker that time, okay? Should not compare. There's an age of difference was there. The roles were different. Upbringings were different. Nowadays, the women would want to complete all the roles. They want to be good mothers. They want to be good housewives. So much of competition is there in the workplaces, They want to see the up ladders, with the money and everything put together.
What do you think is the right age for marriage?
Guys mature late. I know this is a very controversial thing to say, but guys, they better marry older, like 28, 30, before 35, obviously. But girls, they mature pretty early. Up to them. They can marry 18. They're mature enough to marry 18.
30.
I don't know.
I feel like that's when you have like your brain developed and like
I guess so, and
you have time to like settle into life.
Yeah, you're individually settled at that point, I feel. And you don't really need to depend on somebody else at that point. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be much cleaner that way.
I don't think there's the right age to marry. Honestly, I don't even know when people find one. I don't know. But obviously people have their ideal ages. But the right age to marry, if I had to pick a number, I would say, honestly, actually, I don't know. Millie Bobby Brown got engaged recently when she was only 19. And it works out for people, sometimes it doesn't. So it's fine if it doesn't work out. Just take a chill pill. Don't take it too hard. I think obviously marriage is important and it's okay for it to be a huge part of your life. But I don't think that it needs to be the biggest part of your life, and it's not the end of the world. And you can always get married again, So... But that's just my opinion.
There is also a side to Indian weddings that goes much deeper, which comes down to the amount of pressure it has on an individual both personally and financially. Some 10 million weddings take place each year in a market worth 50 billion US dollars. But the occasion also puts enormous social pressure on the bride's family to spend vast sums of money in order to fulfill the demands of the groom's family and impress relatives. Failure to do so can have ramifications. Weddings that have been called off have driven brides and their parents to commit suicide due to the fear of what society will think of them or because of the money that they owe.
They're conflicted about the whole thing, so they don't know what to do. And at other times, it's not neither of those things. It's actually that they are, maybe families started looking for prospective partners, and they are just overwhelmed with, the whole thing. It's not that they don't want to do it, maybe, but it's just that thinking about the whole thing. Maybe they have just seen their brother getting married, and their sister-in-laws come home, and then they are seeing what happened post. So they're maybe a bit overwhelmed about the whole thing. Rarely it's also about, maybe they have certain difficulties or maybe, commitment phobia or communication issues that they have recognized within themselves, and they are scared they might do the same things with their prospective spouses. So they come into therapy to improve on those things.
Do you think there's a lot of pressure from family when you reach a certain age to get married?
Not mine. Mine is actually saying don't get married.
Okay.
Yeah, mine probably will, because they do believe.
Have you seen people around you be anxious
Around
about?
me, yeah, I mean my cousins, everybody.
In my family, there is a pressure. Okay, so it's just pressure. I think the more pressure is on female. Actually, they get a lot of pressure because people are coming from orthodox family. They just say that you are getting old, you will not look good after a certain age. So you should get married right now. Maybe you won't have kids if you get married late. So these are the equation what the family goes in. But I don't think so. In this generation, it doesn't matter anymore.
I'm in college right now, and some people are engaged, which is so weird to me. It's bizarre. But yeah, I think another important, another peer pressure that you do feel is maybe I could be someone who thinks that I don't need to get married. It's not something I want to do. But after I hit a certain age, when all my friends are married, it just kind of hits you, it could be something I don't want, but it could be something I believe I want just because everyone around me is married, which kind of sucks. But I think you need to just remind yourself sometimes that some things aren't for you. And also, again, they'll probably get divorced soon. So
let's start.
Child marriage. Marriage is tough. A lot of gives and takes has to be there, because whether it's an arranged marriage or it's a love marriage is the compromise from both the sides.
Some people have more difficulty in expressing things, and what sometimes happens is when one person wants a certain sort of communication in a relationship and the other person is not doing that same thing, so needs are not being met. And sometimes this is more with women that I've seen. Sometimes when women move in and there is this initial clash with other family members, because this is a different person who's grown up very differently, and then they are not very used to things, right? So women do prefer the support of their partners. Sometimes they get miffed when partners are not able to stand up to them, in quote unquote. Usually adjustment issues that are there, just I was fine, and I was the daughter of my house, and I was not expected to do anything. I used to get my meals on time. Now I am expected to do certain things, help in the kitchen.
अगर गाड़ी को चलना है तो उसके दोनों पहिए एक ही डायरेक्शन में होंगे तो गाड़ी चलती है, अदरवाइज रुक जाती है. Marriage was something very pure, okay? But nowadays it's like everything is available. If you get the chance to get married, please do. It's a beautiful thing. Association of two families, whether it's a love marriage or arranged marriage, you people are very young. Take a wise decision. Take your wise selection. Do talk about this to your parents. Be always vocal in a relationship. Most of the relationship breaks because when there is a lack of communication. Whatever good, bad, ugly, talk. Sorting will happen. Always take a elderly advice. They have seen the world. They have experienced it. When our parents were there, we have not seen divorce rates. They were happily married. Our parents were annoying to each other. Used to fight, but they never thought of leaving. I'm going to leave. And 4 or 5 kids used to be there at that time. Now with single kids only, people have so much of problems. I feel I've been married from very long. I also had my hiccups, lot of things. But चल जाता है जिंदगी. It's all partnership. If you have a good spouse, if you have an understanding, make them understand.
Obviously, marriage is important and it's okay for it to be a huge part of your life. But I don't think that it needs to be the biggest part of your life, and it's not the end of the world. And you can always get married again,